This is your guy EF with the EF Sports Edge, and I'm coming back with another season talking sports, all sports, any sports, giving you the insight, the intel, the intellect, the game inside the game. You know, people watch games and they say, wow, this happened, that happened. That's amazing. He's the greatest. He's the best. But I tell you why they're the greatest, why they're the best, how they did what they did, why the outcome was the outcome. That's the intel, that's the insight, that's the knowledge that can take you to the next level as far as conversations, teaching your kids, building IQ, the game inside the game. I break this thing down into 3 or 4 quarters. First quarter will be a topic, second quarter, a topic, third, so on and so forth. Today we have 3 quarters. And we're going to talk about, in the first quarter, LeBron and the Lakers. Yeah, I know. It's a topic that gets old, but it never dies, right? LeBron and the Lakers. It gets old talking about that, but it just doesn't die. It just doesn't die. And I'm ready. I'm going to ride right into it because I have a topic that I want to peel off of that. They're not even in the playoffs, but there's something that everybody wants to talk about. LeBron and the Lakers. So I'm going to jump in. I'm going to give my 2 cents on something. So here's the first quarter topic. The word going around from all the TV heads is that LeBron James should come back to the Lakers. They're saying after his contract is up, probably like June 1st or July 1, that he should resign and come back to the Lakers. You know, there are some thoughts that he could go to Golden State and play with Steph, maybe even go back to Cleveland and try to run another title that way. But the majority of the people on TV are saying that he should go back to LA. That's the best bet for him. It's the best bet for the Lakers. I don't think so. I don't. That's ran its course. Yeah, this doesn't mean that he's not a great player. LeBron is still really, really good. He's really good. I mean, you can't take that from him. Even at the age of, 41, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, whatever age he is, right, he's still killing it. I mean, you can't deny it. You can't knock it. You know, this has nothing to do with Jordan. I know everybody wants to get into who's the greatest of all time and all that mess. It doesn't matter, really. Just enjoy and appreciate the players. Jordan was the man in his era. Kareem was the man in his era. Jerry West was getting busy back in the day. Wilt in his day. This is LeBron's day. Hats off to the man. He's great. But it doesn't mean that he needs to go back to the Lakers. I'm all about fit, right? And I know LeBron wants to lighten his load a little bit. I get it. And he, Reeves, and Luka played well down the stretch when they were healthy. And credit to LeBron. But it's time to turn the page. Let the Lakers build around Luka and I guess Reeves. Build a team that fits them. Doesn't mean they're going to win a championship, but you got to let the team feed off of those 2 guys, Luka and Reeves. LeBron is such a huge presence. He's good enough to where it's hard for him to play third fiddle. He's not the kind of guy where Luka brings it up the whole game and LeBron just stands in the corner waiting to shoot threes or maybe even doing the dirty work because he can, because he's good enough. That's just not his. That's hard to do. That's not really a Luka style team. Luka needs guys, 3-and-D guys. And when I'm not saying LeBron can't shoot threes. I'm not. I'm saying some real 3-and-D guys though. Young legs, youthful, get up the floor, defend, and you need some hoppers at the 4 and 5 spot. That is how Luka thrives. If you bring LeBron back, it will continue to stunt the Lakers' growth. Yeah, I know. I know. It doesn't make sense. He's one of the best players of all time, right? You want him on your team, right? He's the greatest. We got to have him. Doesn't make sense to say you don't need to be here. It does make sense, right? It's hard to have two big dogs sitting in the house, and one, he's ready to explode. It's his team, do or die, win or lose. He's ready to rock and roll. And the other one has all the knowledge, can tell you where all the dead bodies are. He can tell you how to win, how to lose. He's going to contribute at a high level, but it's not a good fit. You need that voice in the locker room, and I'm not saying Luka's a great leader, but I'm saying he's got to be the leader. He's got to be the guy. And LeBron is just too big for that. He's just, yeah, I'm not saying he's cocky. I'm not saying he can't convert and let Luka have it. But he's a internal winner, right? When you know how to win and you've won a lot, it's hard to just sit back and let somebody else do it, especially if you might not agree with it. I think he being LeBron also has a little disconnect with JJ sometimes as well. I know they had the podcast and they're supposed to have put this thing together to where he's going to be the coach and all that kind of stuff, but real life game time stuff, real decisions, yeah, sometimes I think they don't see eye to eye, and that is because LeBron is LeBron. His IQ is there. He's the big dog. He's the alpha. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but what I'm saying is it's time to turn the keys over to Luka and build around that. Let JJ and Luka build and go into the future. And that means that they should not include LeBron. Plus, he's probably going to ask for a lot of money, which is going to, Well, here's the thing, though. I get it. If you don't bring LeBron back, who are you going to get? It's easy for me to sit here and say, let him go, bring some people in. I get it. I get that. I get it because I don't know who you're going to bring back. Who's out there as free agents that you can bring in? This might take a while, right? You let LeBron go. You get one free agent this year. Maybe next year you get another two. You've got to build this thing slowly, a year or two, and then maybe you've got it, right? So this is going to be tricky for the Lakers, but I think LeBron should keep moving, move it on. Maybe one last hurrah, rock it out with Steph in the Bay, have some fun with it, see if you can get a ring out of it. But I think he should turn the page with the Lakers. I do. I think, like boys to men, you've come to the end of the road. I know it's hard to say goodbye, and it's bye-bye. I think he should go. That's quarter one. LeBron should leave the Lakers. Quarter one. Quarter two, the Dallas Cowboys, the draft. They picked Caleb Downs, who I think is probably one of the better defensive backs that we've seen come out of college in a long time. If you don't know who he is, he was a safety for Ohio State. He started out at Alabama, has a brother that plays in the NFL for the Colts. Talented family. I think his dad played in the NFL. Talented family. Great defensive back. My concern is, I do have a concern. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I do have a concern. I think, from what I can tell, the Cowboys want to play Caleb as the nickelback. Now, he did some of that at Ohio State. He did a lot of it at Ohio State last year. But I think Caleb is at his best when he's roaming around being a rover or a star. And what I mean by that, he's in the secondary reading and reacting, orchestrating and organizing and making plays. I think that's when he is at his best. If you sit him down, bring him down in the box to play the slot, you're going up against the other team's quickest, shiftiest, maybe even fastest receiver. Now, I'm not saying Caleb can't guard that, but Caleb's good, but he's not the shiftiest with the hips, right? He's not the 4-2-3 type guy with the quick 10-meter back and forth, shifty in and outs. You know what I mean? He's not that dude. He's not. So I don't know how much of a benefit it will be for him to be in the slot defending a slot receiver as opposed to being in the middle of the field, calling the shots, seeing it all develop, getting everybody where they need to be and making plays on the ball. I'm concerned. I think it's a great pick. I hope they use him right. I have confidence in Caleb. I think Caleb can be a very good slot corner, but I think he can be a Hall of Famer safety. How about that? I think he can be a very good slot corner, but I think he can be a Hall of Fame safety. That's my concern. I'd put him at safety. I let him roam, read, and get busy. Like I've seen him do at Alabama, and I think maybe even at his first year at Ohio State. He was sensational back there. So, Cowboy fans, tell me what you think. I know Caleb's coming to town. It sounds good. The name sounds good. He's on your team. It feels good. But do you know exactly what position he's playing? That's the kicker. That's what you need to really dive into. And if you see him on the line guarding the slot receiver and you see him getting burnt up a little bit, don't say, hey, wait a minute, what's going on? I thought he was great. I thought he was good. Well, it's because he should be a little further back. He should be a safety, roaming and reading. So just keep your eye on that. That's just my 2 cents on Caleb Downs and the Cowboys. Quarter 3, last quarter. We're going to switch to the NBA playoffs, and we're going to talk about the New York Knicks. Stephen A. always talks about the Knicks haven't won it since he was like 5 years old. Well, they haven't won it since I was 1 year old. I'm in the same boat. 1973 is when they won it. That's a long time. Think about that. The 70s, just nothing. The 80s, they had Bernard King. That was a little hope. That was fun, but you knew they weren't really going to win anything. The 90s, Pat Ewing and the boys had a chance against Hakeem and the Dream. They lost the last 2 games of the series and lost the series. That was tough. And ever since then, it's been a little here and there, hit or miss, nothing heavy. The Yankees have been winning. The Mets have been sort of successful. Not the Jets, but the Giants had 1 Super Bowl. So listen, this is their best chance. You've got Cleveland and Detroit in the next round. I know they've struggled with Detroit during the regular season and a little bit in the playoffs last year, even though they beat them. They're better than both of those teams. Like right now, the cohesion is there. That's important. The chemistry and the cohesion is better than Cleveland's and Detroit's. Now, styles make fights, matchups are everything, right? I tell people all the time, people say, how can this team beat that team and they play this well, and then all of a sudden they play this team and they look like crap? Well, a lot of it is not about this team choked or this team was scared and all that. It's about matchups. all it takes sometimes is one matchup that you don't even pay attention to. It might be at the power forward slot, right? If that power forward is dominating the paint, getting all the rebounds, taking charges, outplaying the other four, it's that matchup alone, just that one, that could just change and dictate the whole series. It can change game plans. It can change the way people prepare. The game inside the game, I'm telling you, is deep. So, yeah, even though the Knicks are playing great, they match up against Detroit. Duran hasn't been playing well during the playoffs, but right, this could be the series where he all of a sudden starts to play well. I mean, the matchup is in his favor, right? Style of play might be in his favor. So you can never put the horse behind the cart. But the Knicks do look good. They look good. I'm hoping they make it. I would love to see a Knicks versus Wemby or a Knicks versus OKC series. I think that would be exciting. But Brunson and Big Cat, I like what they're doing. I wanted to give them some love. The series starts in the next couple of days. I'm going to go on record and say, this isn't a far-fetched thing, right? But it is because these are the Knicks. They fall apart around this time of year, right? It's getting warm out, and they hibernate when it gets warm. They disappear when it gets warm. But I think the Knicks will make the finals, and depending on who they play, they just might win this whole thing. Yeah, they might just win this whole thing. A couple of key things to keep your eye on, though. They've had a layoff, and they've been hot, right? You want to hope that they stay in routine, they stay in form, so when they come back, they're ready to rock and roll. So whatever's happening now, or since they won their last game until the first game of the next series, is important. I remember back in the 80s, dating myself again. I remember the Lakers were running through the playoffs. This had to be like 89, right? They were running through the playoffs. I think they were sweeping everybody. This is Magic, Kareem's last year, I believe, Worthy, Cooper, Scott, that whole gang, running through the playoffs. They were waiting for Detroit in the finals. They might have had a week to prepare, right? Pat Riley probably took them to El Segundo or somewhere like that, or Loyola Marymount somewhere, and they practiced. And he was pushing those boys. He was pushing them. And I wasn't there, but this is what Magic and Byron Scott have said. You can look it up. He was pushing them because he wanted to make sure they were sharp. He didn't want anything to fall off. They had just swept the first two series, if I'm not mistaken. Fast forward. They worked so hard that week off that when they did play Detroit in the playoffs, well, actually, preparing for Detroit, Byron Scott pulled his hamstring, so he wasn't in the finals. And then if you remember, Magic Johnson pulled his hamstring game 2 of the finals. And the rest is history. I'm not making excuses for the Lakers. The Pistons earned it. They deserved it. They got it done. But what I am saying is it's going to be important for the Knicks to manage this time off. Do you push it? Do you chill? Can you find that happy medium? That's the answer to the question. The answer to the question is another question. Can you find a happy medium? That's the answer, and that's the question. So we'll find out in a couple days when the series starts. Will they come out rocking and rolling? Or will they be a little rusty and then finally get it going? Or maybe the other team is just going to be better and knock them out the box. We'll see. Lakers, Knicks, and the Dallas Cowboys. Topics today, first, second, and third quarter. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you on next week. We'll do this weekly, and we'll have 3 or 4 more topics. Until then, make sure you subscribe. There's some other clips here on EF Sports Edge where we're breaking down film of games. So take a look at that. A lot of insight, a lot of intel, having a lot of fun with it. Until we see each other again, make sure you are scoring touchdowns or making 3-pointers.